It's camp season. Got your camp legs ready to roll. Me too. It was a little warm out there this morning. It's just exciting to get to this phase, and we want to welcome Bronco Nation to fall camp 2023. We've had a tremendous summer. We're really excited to move into phase number 3, which is fall camp of our off-season training. We've had a tremendous summer. The growth, both mentally and physically, that our strength coaches, our staff, it's awesome to be able to have the men and women around these guys all through June and July. Obviously, the availability for us to be around them more, as the NCAA has allowed us, has really allowed us to prepare and to be at a spot further ahead right now than we have been in years past. But we're going to look at the summer real quick before we jump into fall camp and start talking a little bit about the team. This summer, one of the big focuses was how we train, how we prepare, that intent. The summer can get really long. You're training for 8 weeks, and it's nothing but workouts. The guys get to do some PRPs and stuff like that. But being really intentful with those reps that we get in the strength and conditioning room, whether it's in the meeting rooms, whether it's on the field together. And we have a mature team that has a huge care factor and that has done an unbelievable job this summer competing. And because of that, as we've set out to do in the summertime and continue to build on from the winter and the spring, this game is about physicality, and we've been able to build that. This game is about being explosive. We've been able to build individually, collectively, our personnel collectively as a team. One of the best things about the summertime is getting to work as a team. That's where the team is forged together. And obviously, we'll speak here in a second what it looks like going into fall camp. But we've been able to increase the strength of each individual player, which then turns into the output of power for speed, change of direction, endurance. We're very fortunate with Coach Hilgart and our strength staff to have them here, and not only to be able to physically develop these young men, but to create a mentality, to create a standard through how we work in the summertime. It's pretty fun to see what our strength staff has been able to do. So speaking of that, the notes on the roster, we'll cover this as Patrick talked about, so that we all have an idea of where we're going into fall camp. Obviously, as we come out of fall camp, as we continue to develop and improve the personnel and the team. But guys that were out of spring football, okay, guys that will be full go but will be modified with reps as we continue to build throughout the course of fall camp. Markel Reed has had a tremendous summer, and so we're excited to see Markel back on the field as he will participate, and we will grow his rep count as we work through fall camp, as well as Cole Wright, Gabe Hunter, and Deshaun Misa. So we're excited to have those guys out there participating and going. We did want to update you guys. Unfortunately, we have a few players that will be out for this season due to lower leg injuries. Latrell Caples will be out this year, as well as JJ Talo. Those guys are well into their way of working back in their rehabs, coming with great spirits. They're going to have a tremendous impact on this team because of who they are and being around and helping their brothers and leading that standard every single day. On the other end, we have a few guys that will be, as we start fall camp, on their return to play protocols. We will not see these guys in fall camp until mid-August. That's Ben Ford and Austin Bolt. Their progress through the course of the summer has been awesome. The way they've been training with our training staff, our medical team, in collaboration with our strength staff, we're excited about where they're at, and we just want to make sure that we get them to a point when they get into these team periods that they're capable of being their best, because they can have a huge impact. As we move in now, fall camp, this is where football really comes together. This is where the team is forged together. We get to put on the pads here shortly. I know the players look forward to that. Every single day, this is an opportunity to bring the standard to life. The guys, as they walk in this building, walk through these front doors every morning, You know, it's a grind through fall camp. A lot of times people talk about it like it's Groundhog's Day. But you know what? It's a simpler life where we get to focus on football for the next few weeks here from sunrise to sunset, and we're looking forward to doing that. As we do that, okay, and we talk about living this standard every single day, we get the opportunity to earn the confidence, the real confidence that creates a mentality that is needed through a long season, one game at a time, one day, 1 week, and the team has done a tremendous job of that, like we said, in the summertime, so now we get to build off of that. The focus throughout fall camp. It's all about competition. Competition breeds development. Iron sharpens iron. And we got a really competitive team right now that is also really close. And so now we get the opportunity to move forward and build off of that to create a team that is able to play physical at the line of scrimmage, because that's where this game starts. And it's shown that, when we're able to play physical at the line of scrimmage, both in the run game and the pass game, it leads to success for us. With that comes building a team that is explosive. Not only that, but identifying what players, what personnel do things well, putting them in the right positions. We have philosophies, we have scheme ideas, we have things we want to get done, but ultimately, this is a personnel-driven sport, and we're very fortunate to have personnel that does things specifically within their own roles and skill sets very well. The next thing that we'll be focusing on is the ball. It's football. Who has the ball scores. So the ball is a team, and we will focus on that and make sure that every single day we are teaching ball security. We are teaching how we take the ball. We'll create some fun competition stuff within our practices every single day to give the guys energy, to give them something to work forward to, and to build those skills and habits necessary to be successful throughout the year. And throughout fall camp, we cover the whole map. It's all laid out from practice number 1 all the way up to game number 1 in terms of situations. We, for a long time here, prided ourselves on being situational masters, understanding we're not just calling plays. They're very specific to situations and understanding how to play those situations. We feel like our team has grown tremendously with that, and even after the course of last season and the things that we've got to build on as we work through spring ball and throughout the summer, our coaches do a tremendous job with that, and it really starts with the coaches and the leaders and how they drive that. That gives us the edge. We're really excited about this season. We all know we have an exciting and challenging schedule. Here at home, we have a tremendous opportunity here to play at home, and we'd encourage Bronco Nation to go out and get their tickets while they're available. There is going to be not very many better places that we get to play. We're fortunate enough to get to play right here in Albertson Stadium for our home games. It's one of the best venues of all college football. That's what drives the players to work. And not only to do it for us, for our team, for our family, but for Bronco Nation. What that's going to look like, okay? We have 8 6-year seniors returning, and that's a good number for us. And especially, it's more about who those 6-year seniors are. These guys are veterans that understand what it means to be productive. What they understand the process that it takes to be successful day in and day out. And we've got plenty of players that have experience from last year. Maybe they weren't starters all year. Maybe they started 2 games. Maybe they worked into the rotation. But that experience and getting a shot to play this year will pay forward as we work into this season. I know everyone's excited to see and hear about our offense. We're tremendously lucky that we have a leader of our offense that knows the tradition of Boise State, that has been here. But not only that, but is an unbelievable fit for our personnel, the things that we did to be successful at the end of last season, throughout the middle towards the end of last season. It's a natural fit for what he wants to do and to be able to expand and go beyond with those things. As we talk more about the offense, okay, again, we spoke about the standard overall for the whole program, all 3 phases. It always starts at the line of scrimmage, and we say the line of scrimmage, it's 53 yards and change. So that incorporates not just the O-linemen and the tight ends, but the wide receivers too. We were very fortunate to have a lot of explosive run plays last year, and a lot of that had to do with work down the field by the wide receivers blocking that maybe a lot of people didn't realize. It's that team mentality that we're going to work together. It takes building a schedule within fall camp that is going to allow us to grow together, to work together, to understand the different elements that go into being physical at the line of scrimmage and being able to control the line of scrimmage. What comes with that is explosive plays for our offense, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. Even in the pass game now, it starts at the line of scrimmage. TG and the quarterback's got to have time. In the variety of offensive pass schemes we will use and the different protections, it's not just the offensive line, it's the running backs, it's the tight ends. And so how we facilitate those things at the line of scrimmage to be explosive is we build in the pass game and be able to build on top of the things that we did well last year in the pass game and find out this is a new year. What are the things that we're going to do well in the pass game that fit our personnel, that fit our wide receivers, that fit our tight ends and our running backs? And obviously those guys that are driving the bus, what are the things that they're going to do well? That's something that we all want to get on the same page about. It's not about necessarily always as coaches, like we have a lot of wants. We've coached a lot of football. There's a lot of things that we're capable of doing, but it's about what they do well and creating a balance for what they do well in terms of the run game and the pass game. And we're excited to build on what we've done through the spring and the summertime in relation to that. That being said, our offense has had a tremendous offseason. We got a lot of work left to do. But this is an offense that loves working together. They like the direction we're going. You guys will get an opportunity to talk to them. You'll get to hear the excitement about it. But a lot of that comes back to Talon and how he's grown over the course of the offseason, as well as our other quarterbacks. You know, Mad Dog and CJ, they've got to go through winter and spring and made tremendous growth as well. Specific to the group, Talon in general, I mean, we're talking about a group that is humble and hungry, and Talon leads that. You're talking about a guy that cares about his teammates, a guy that will work to put in the hours on his own in the preparation process, both mentally and physically. You're looking at a guy that is willing to work with wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs on his own, that loves the game, and ultimately has allowed him to progress over the summertime, and now it really comes together. Being able to structure things where we can grow forward and get the team reps we need, that experience will be huge for our offense and for Talon and the rest of the quarterbacks as we move forward here, especially in the next week, in the first week of camp. Move it to the defensive side of the ball. You know, the keys are always let's be real. Like we don't need to overcomplicate this game. When it comes to playing good defense, it starts with teamwork and a relentless mentality. Always. That is proven to be true year after year, and what that looks like is the ability and the effort to communicate and to play together collectively on the field. I know Coach D will have some one-liners for you on what that looks like when you get a chance to talk to him. But as always, we are going to emphasize eye control and how well we operate and play together, especially with a group that, you know, some people may think we don't have a lot of experience, but due to the injuries that we had on our defense last year, again, paying it forward, now last year, you know, there were stretches where, you know, we had to get, you know, maybe a guy that came into camp last year as a 3, maybe a 4. You know, on the depth chart, by the middle to the end of the season, those guys were getting reps in the rotation. We pay that forward to where we're at now. We got guys that got experience. And, you know, how we build off of that is everything. But how we finish plays, how we attack the ball, how we're explosive on the ball as a defense. Remember, our job as a defense is to get the ball back for our team, is to get the ball back in our hands. That's how we score. And so how our coaches will build that, how our coaches will build competition each and every day to create, again, the skills and habits necessary so they become reactions. They do an unbelievable job that I'm really looking forward to seeing that competition each and every day on the practice field. We're going to rely on leaders that have done a tremendous job throughout the course of the year. Now it'll be really time to step up in terms of fall camp and the process that goes into it. Guys like DJ, Dimitri, Markel, Alex Tubner, and those are just a few that we'll list off now. But we've got a lot of guys growing into that leadership fold. You know, Rodney's done a really good job understanding what it means to be a safety on the back end and be able to help lead the structure and the shell of the defense. As we work through fall camp here and we get through acclimatization process and we get to start to put on the pads and stuff like that is going to be vital, again, because this game starts at the line of scrimmage. How we develop our defensive front. Again, that comes through competition. That becomes through identifying what we need to do better, how we can do it better, and more specifically, what do our guys do well. And we're really excited about the guys we have in our defensive front. They're an eager group. They're eager to prove themselves. They won't shy away from work. And as we move in to the rest of our defense and build experience in the back end, again, we've got a lot of guys that gained experience last year and got playing time. We're really excited about those guys. And again, they got something to prove now. It's their opportunity to build their role and have a bigger impact this year. And ultimately, that takes reps. We've built this team so we can get team reps. We've built this team so that we can get the quality reps and the experience we need throughout camp so that we can have a fast start to the season. That being said, where we're at today is a good point. We're very excited to turn the page and go into phase number 3, as we call it, cycle number 3 of the off-season preparation. We have a tremendous amount of work to do, but we're excited to do it. This is a fun team to be around because of who they are, how they work, how they get along, how they take care of each other, how they compete, how the older guys are bringing in, the freshmen and teaching them, how to do things, within this brotherhood. It has been really cool to see it. I'm blessed to be a part of it. Really excited to get moving into fall camp and have you guys come out. Patrick laid out some of those things. We're going to allow the media to be out there for a few more periods as we move through fall camp so that you guys can see bigger structure and how guys are coming into the fold. We want Bronco Nation to know what's going on. We want Bronco Nation to know about this team, how they're working together, the individuals that are working to build their roles, and ultimately the impact that will come with that. With that, we'll take questions.
Coach, you're heading into year 3. I'm curious, how do you personally define success? Is it a championship? Is it a certain number of wins? Is it a bowl game? How do you define it for yourself?
Well, our goal here is written right across the top of the room, right in front of you guys, and anymore, that's become the standard. And so, as most of you all have goals in your life, and what defines success? Yes, being a successful team for us is defined as winning a championship, being successful in a bowl game, and building this team throughout the course of the year. For us to do that, it's going to take a consistent process that involves a standard, okay, that is second to none, where there's no double standards, that everybody is all in to do the work. That creates that confidence, that real confidence to be able to compete at a level that is going to allow us to get to our final goal. And as always, like I said, I'm sure all you guys have goals. We don't focus on that specific goal. We focus on the particular things that we just spoke about that are going to allow us over time to grow, to reach a level where we're able to compete to attain our goal.
A lot of experience you guys had coming back for wide receiver. Even with Latrell out, you still have quite a bit of experience. For guys like Eric and the other receivers, how does this kind of give them an opportunity? And what do you expect to see from them? The first few days of camp?
And it was cool. You brought up the first one. I mean, we talked about Eric, and how he grew in the middle of the year to the end of the year last year. And really, again, it's about finding out, well, what does Eric do well? What does Billy do well? Steph and these other guys that are growing in the fold around them, what do they do well, and what complements the offense, and being able to put these guys in position as well as the tight ends. Like, what are the things they're going to do well in the pass game? Yeah, we can design and draw up plays on the board and all that, but what are these guys going to do well and be able to do explosively to create an advantage? And you guys will be able to see when you get out on the field, this is an eager group. This is a group that we're working to develop a mentality that is just as the fronts in terms of how we explode off the ball, our intent, how we run our routes, how we finish plays, how we work together, how we block down the field. I mean, that's another piece of it. We got a group that's willing to block down the field and help out their brothers in the run game as well.
You mentioned Tubner earlier. It just seems like he's universally loved in the locker room. Why is that?
Again, I mean, to be honest with you, it's no different than anything else. It's about how you make people feel, and how you show up every day, how you lead yourself, and then how you bring people in around you. And how guys are willing to help each other. I think he does that each and every day, but not only that, but he's very consistent in his approach in terms of how he competes. There's one way and one way only for Alex, and it's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see over the course of the last couple years, he would get to jump in a game and get going for various reasons. But that experience that he got in the last couple years, he would go in there and do a really, really good job, and it just built his role. But to be honest with you, he had to earn the right to do that, and by doing that, he earned the right to have that real confidence that we talk about, in his everyday preparation.
You mentioned Rodney Robinson is kind of, learning how to become a great safety. What specifically did he focus on in spring ball and throughout this summer to elevate his game?
Yeah, no question. So there's the physical development of, the skill set and the various techniques that come along with it. And we do a lot of stuff in the secondary here, which is fun. It's cool, but we got to do it. We got to do it at an elite level, right? So building a physical skill set, but also being back there is a high safety. It's much like air traffic control. You got to be able to adjust coverages. And sometimes, we love it when we're here in Albertson Stadium in Bronco Nation. I mean, this is one of the loudest places we'll play. We've got to be able to do that with nonverbals. We got to be ahead of plays. We've had to have the experience of knowing the preparation to do that in the pre-snap and lead. He's an extension, as well as the other safeties, of the coaches out there in terms of being able to operate, get guys in position, adjust to certain things.
With Markel Reed working back from another injury last year, what does that just say about his drive and commitment to this team?
Oh, it's been unbelievable, and just, it's not easy either now. It's, as we all know, everybody's going to have their days, but it's been awesome to see Markel stack good day after good day and work through and have that mental fortitude to come back and not only lead himself, but to be out there that brings a wealth of experience of, again, what it is to prepare. Not only prepare himself, but help the other guys around him. He's proven that when he's out there on the field, that he can be a very productive player.
You've talked the last couple of years about wanting to develop a two deep on the offensive and defensive line that you're comfortable with. Where are you with that, and who are some young guys that you're excited to see in those roles this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's specific. We get to do a little bit more now in the summertime with our team, obviously coming out of spring ball, but it is really, here we go. That's why I talked about it's a pertinent deal for the defense, especially in creating a mentality in the defensive front through repetition of fundamentals and techniques and building that confidence to be able to handle the one-on-ones and, to be honest with you, the combo blocks and the physicality that goes along with that. It is in this game, you got to build a two deep and then look at, well, who's the third two that we're getting ready. So when we speak about building this team through the fronts, it's not just so we can have guys to practice. It's so that we can practice a certain way, compete, and develop even the guys that are new to the team. But obviously, we've been able to recruit, whether it be high school, junior college, 4-year transfers like Tyler Wegas and guys that have come along like Sheldon into the fold, and how we develop and build them into the roster. And again, there's a lot of other guys too that have experience that are coming back that, maybe they weren't the starter last year. I mean, Braxton had an unbelievable spring, and it's just continued on. The way Braxton trains, the way Braxton competes is really at an elite level. Herbie's played a lot of football now. I mean, Herb's been around here for a long time, and let me just tell you, man, it's not only what we see on the field, and obviously he's got a lot of room left to grow, but it's who he's becoming as a young man as well. It's pretty cool to see. And Big Mike's had a tremendous offseason. This is the best we've seen out of Mike in a long time at the D tackle position, and where he's at both mentally and physically, and really, as a 6-year senior at this point, is a guy that really has emerged into a leadership role because of how he works on the defensive front and really collectively who he is in this building. Offensive line wise, again, this is probably a position last year as well where guys got some experience, and that's going to pay it forward. We obviously have guys like Cade coming back and Garrett, who have played a lot of football. Ben Dooley, I've spoke on this before, but Ben Dooley came into last year with some things that he was working through from a physical standpoint. But Ben Dooley, when healthy, is one of the better offensive linemen that we've had here in a long time. And Mason, Mason has played a lot of football for us as well, so we're really excited. Mason is going to work at the center position. And then the final tackle spot, the left tackle spot with Cage, and Ethan, who we recruited and brought in here, gives us some depth. Rick Moore was a transfer last year from the junior college, and his body and who he is and his confidence and how he's developed, so we feel like we have the guys in place to develop, compete. And again, this is where fall camp comes into play, because we get to put the pads on. You look at a guy like Roger. Roger played some last year. Roger's a totally different player this year than he was in previous years. So there's a whole host. We can go through the whole roster, but we'll be here all afternoon, and the other coaches won't get to talk to you guys. But that is a really good starting point. And again, that's why we're going to allow you guys to be out there, so that Bronco Nation gets to see some of these guys and how they're coming into the fold, how they're progressing, because it's pretty exciting.
I know day one of fall camp isn't day one for you guys. That being said, though, how is day one a little different? What's it like when the sun comes up and the guys get out on the field? Like,
You look like you've been getting your gains this summer too. You've been working out a little bit, man. You've been talking about building some depth. Yeah, I mean, they're excited to turn this page, Jay. Like, I'll tell you, they put in so much work, and they have been as consistent as I've seen in a long time this summer. And again, that comes with, the collaborative approach from our strength staff and how the coaches help with these things, our support staff. This development too, I'll say something, like 2 years ago, we didn't have a nutritionist when we got here. We not only have a nutritionist now, but, she's got a unbelievable department that has done way more than what we've ever seen here in terms of the resources to help nutrition for recovery, so that we then can develop. So I say all this, Jay, to say the guys are excited to go out there to play. And you're right, we are further along at this point than we have been in a long time, but that doesn't mean that we aren't through the point where we really got to hone in on these specifics that we just spoke about in terms of building the team through the fronts, through the timing, through playing together in the back end, through the timing in the pass game with the wide receivers, the tight ends, and the quarterbacks,
Captains this year, are you going to announce that? Is it the same as the policy in the past? You'll have 2 permanent captains and game captains? And are you ready to
You're
announce
talking about specific to games, Mike?
Well,
or
or
up
season
front.
captains.
So season captains are DJ and Riley, who went to Mountain West Media Days. That's how we do it. Those young men have earned the right. They were voted on by their peers to be the respective leaders of each side of the ball. But now, we have a leadership group of well over 2 guys that represent each position group. And to be honest with you, we've got guys within that leadership group too that have merged and are learning how to lead at the level and I say respective side of the ball. DJ and Riley can lead the team, and the respect they have to be able to lead across the ball. That's what we want. We want a player-led team. And so, yes, those are our 2 main captains. And then as we go throughout the course of the year, guys that have done well and prepared and have been productive, production drives everything. They'll get the opportunity to be captains as we get into the season.
I want to talk about the linebackers for a second. After DJ, obviously you have a few options there. What are you kind of looking for in that group to kind of determine who gets the playing time?
Well, I'll go right back to it. I mean, Drew Simpson jumped in there. He's one of the guys that I'm talking about. So Drew's a perfect example of last year, right? When Zeke goes down, and now it's Drew and it's DJ out there, and Drew got a ton of experience down the stretch that I tell you what has allowed him to propel himself forward. But it still comes down to that process, being an everyday guy and coming in the building and knowing that this is the expectation. I'm getting all these reps today. It's not just about me within my rep, but the guys around me, and especially at the linebacker position, and being able to adjust on the fly, be disciplined with our eyes, our communication, and obviously our fit. For the safeties, I'm not saying one's harder than the other, right? The safeties got theirs too, but linebackers got run fits, pass fits, and they're a lot closer to the ball in terms of their reaction time. So to be able to get things done, within that cycle of the snap that we talk about all the time, those are the things that Drew has experience in. And Drew does some things really well. He's got unbelievable read and react. Marco got hurt early on last year, okay? But Marco was on his way to being a contributor last year as well, so we're very excited. Again, I didn't say anything about Marco early on in the press conference, so here we go. You're going to get to see Marco running around out there. We're very excited to see him. But I'll tell you, and I'm not going to go into all the numbers, but you're going to see a guy in Jake Rip who doesn't even look like what he looked like last year. You're talking about a guy that's gained 20 pounds faster, more powerful, change of direction, and obviously has put on that body armor, you know, through the weight room, you know. And then guys like Misa, you get Misa rolling and be able to get him reps, which Meese was tied in. We didn't see a lot of Meese last year, but he was tied into game plans. He understands and knows what that looks like to prepare. Now it's building those reps to build the experience that comes along with that.
Everyone in the Mountain West knows how good your guys' backfield is. Are you excited to kind of, you know, throw in some wrinkles and different things with the run game that, you know, might catch defenses off balance with how many you know, guys you can throw out there?
Yeah, like we said, this is personnel driven. So getting the right personnel, making sure that the personnel, you know, and this is one of the things I get when we talk about Bush and the fit here, his organization and how not only he puts together the whole menu throughout the course of the year, but specifically within that menu to making sure there's things in there that we'll need for the season versus the various defenses we'll play, but also personnel driven. Like, you know, it's built in a way that we can get the ball in the right people's hands.
Latrell, his spirits. Is that the hardest thing, being a head coach, having to sit there and look at a kid who's been here a long time and say, you don't get to play this year, and is the plan for him to be ready by spring?
Yeah, and so you know, we're still early on in that process, but yes, that's one of the hardest things. I mean, and I truly say this, like it's maybe not this way everywhere, but imagine, you know, one of your sons or even our daughters getting hurt. I mean, that's what it is to like us here with our players. I mean, because, and I'll tell you, like, there's a tighter bond here right now too. I promise you this. You know, the things that we ask, the direction we ask to go, the direction we lead, they lead right with us because they care. And they have the experiences of what it looks like in a guy like, you know, Latrell. He's been here for a while. And so, you know, as we're moving along through his rehab plan with our medical team, he can still have an impact. You know, just unfortunately, it's not going to be able to be on the field catching the ball this year, but he'll be back at it and doing it. I'll be honest with you, he was having a tremendous off season. This will allow him to become stronger in all the areas that he wants to, both mentally and physically. Obviously, that takes a great plan to get that done because it's not easy.
Is this something that happened in spring, summer? Is it?
Yeah, we'll move forward on this in fairness to him in his timetable and all that stuff. But he is doing well right now, seeing the smile back on his face and how he's coming back.
What are you gonna miss most with him not being out there?
You know what? He brings versatility, right? You know, in that slot, playing that slot position and being able to do different things. Again, we've spoken about it already. We're fortunate that we're going to be able to have guys in that position that you know, that have done it before themselves, that have played that position and have been very productive as well.
Andy, as you start, you know, year number 3, you look at the roster now, and you've recruited like the majority of the guys on it.
About 60.
Yeah. So
60.
so how's that? Is that different at all in terms of your connection with the players, your knowledge of their past, their present, and anticipating their future? How does that help?
Well, you know what? Just being able to be around these guys, and to be honest with you, even the ones that, you know, in that window, in that gap when we were gone, that were recruited here. I mean, there's guys that are in that window too that are thriving. It's pretty fun now to be around a group of guys that understand. You know, we've talked a lot about reestablishing the foundation and what it means to be humble and hungry, low ego, high output, and to have fun doing that. What we, you know, pour into others is what we get back, and that's what we got a team. It's really cool to see how this team is come together. And again, it just shows how they work too. And now, yeah, specifically, Jay, like that's intentional in how we recruit. And not only the players, but all personnel that come into the building. You know, and the more we're here and we find what fits, and know this, we got to be very specific about personnel and the fit, whether it be staff or players, and being able to find the right people. And it's really been fun to bring it together here in the last, since January. But you guys, you'll get to see a lot of these guys too. And we're working diligently so you guys can get to know these people. As Patrick stated, we're moving up that window, and it comes down to us too in preparing these guys. It's not just the development of the game, right? The X's and O's, but helping them with their overall development with all the new variables that go into college football, from like the nil opportunities, the ability to get up in front of our media, and for you guys to get to meet them. We got better processes in place so that we can get guys ready to be successful. It's not just on the field, and I think you'll get to see that too. It's that plays a part of recruiting as well. Like, who are the individuals that we're bringing in here to get them prepared to be successful in all the different areas.
You guys brought in Tyler Rousa this year. I mean, what does he add to the staff, and what does it mean to you to add another Bronco brother to the staff?
Today's his birthday too. In case you guys are running. Happy birthday, Tyler. No, it's been awesome. I mean, he's been very successful. He was very successful here, and he's had the opportunity to play on and play at the professional level. That's experience not only within the position, but what it means in the preparation, and to be able to do this at an elite level. And the coolest part is our guys trust him. Our kickers trust him, our specialists trust him, and want him to be around. It's been really cool to be able to have him back.
How'd that come to be? Did you reach out to him? Did he reach out to you guys? Who's he replacing?
We reached out to him, and Fresina was here before, and he replaced him. And to be honest, it was an opportunity for us to, ask Tyler. Tyler's got an unbelievable passion for this. Tyler loves this. He loves helping people. He loves what goes into this position. Obviously a skill set that's different. And to be able to have someone that can help with the infrastructure of the special teams, provide some insight into what it looks like to be successful is huge.
Along those same lines, you brought in Lance Anderson. Last year that position proved to be very, very fruitful. He's your offensive analyst, I'm assuming. What's the relationship there, and what do you expect out of him?
Yeah, so we're blessed. I mean, Coach Anderson brings a wealth of experience, and being that he is a native of this great state of Idaho, and just the opportunity for him to be around and help within certain aspects of the offense as a senior analyst, really with that position on both sides of the ball. Coach Collins is on the defensive side of the ball as a senior analyst. We're looking for guys that we're lucky enough that have moved back here into this state for obvious reasons. I mean, because it's a great place to live, but bring this experience that they help the staff grow. They help the coordinators. Very specific in this role to guys that have been coordinators, can handle big picture all the way down to the very detail.
Anything else?
Yeah, one more. I know it's been a while since you've got a new offensive coordinator, but if you go back and you kind of compare to this time last year, how does the identity of what you're doing on offense maybe fit better well with what you want to do big picture wise as a football team? Because clearly after Game 5 we saw there was quite a bit of a change last year.
And that's really, I mean, Jay, to answer your question, that starts with us, with me, and then obviously the people that we put together when we were going through the process to find the right fit. Number one, the person is a leader. His experiences and how they would fit here, the ability to develop a quarterback is a huge part of that, right? And then, as you said, what did we do well from Game 5 on, and what does that fit look like so that it was a natural fit for our players, our personnel. Again, it's personnel driven, and that was a huge focus for us. Not only how did it fit what we did well last year, but obviously more importantly, where can we grow from here? And what are the things naturally, that Bush is going to be able to do to blend, to lead, to help develop not only the offense, but the quarterbacks that are leading that offense.
Anything else? All right.